Ta-da! Welcome! We are at day 1, Nurture Your Creativity and Be Bulletproof. We have lots of work to do, so let's get started. I promised that every day of the videos I would be in a different place in my painting studio. That's going to help me get my studio together, and I thought it would be fun to give you a bit of a tour. Today I'm in my painting locker. He's still here, waiting for his new home. There's some shoe paintings. There's all kinds of goodness going on up there. Let's start. Let's talk creativity. Let's define creativity. What is creativity? What are we talking about when we say creativity? What is it to create? Poof, mouthful. So I started in an obvious place. I went to the dictionary. I went to dictionary.com, and I'll tell you what they told me creativity is. Creativity is the ability to transcend traditional ideas, rules, patterns, and relationships, or the like, and to create meaningful new ideas, forms, and interpretations, etc., etc., etc. Beautiful, beautiful definition. One of the things that I didn't notice was it didn't say art anywhere in the definition of creativity. It didn't say music. It didn't say dancing. It didn't say interpretive sculpture. It didn't say, recipes and scrapbooking, photography. Well, then what kind of definition of creativity is that? Guess what? Creativity has nothing to do with any of those things. I wish I had $1 for every time someone said, I don't have any creativity, I can't paint. Creativity has nothing to do with painting. It has nothing to do with oils. It has nothing to do with pastels, pencil crayons, any of those things. Creativity is simply seeing something you saw before and thinking something new. It's creating ideas. It's creating patterns, creating anything at all that you can create. A recipe, a fashion look, a career, a life, a child, a relationship. There's so many different ways we can be creative. What is creativity to you? Define that. I wrote my definition of creativity here, and I'll read it to you. Creativity is sparking imaginations by seeing new things from old ways. Sparking imaginations by seeing new things from old ways. That's a great definition of creativity for me, because I know when the creativity lightning visits me, it feels like sparks. It feels like the energy gets going and I get rolling and I think, yes, I need to do this. It's a great idea. And it moves me. And I know that in that moment I'm being creative. Whether I'm making cookies or taking a new route or coming up with a solution for dealing with some of my small people or some of my big people or some of my four-leggers, it's coming up with a new idea. It's so much more than creating a painting. What is creativity to you? Define that. So I want you to define creativity for yourself. And I want you to understand and acknowledge that your definition of creativity is going to be different, ultimately miles different, maybe inches different, just different than the person next to you, than mine, than someone else in the class, than your art teacher, your husband, your child, your dog, whoever. We're all going to have our own definition of creativity, and that's what makes it magical. True story, one of the most creative people that I know, don't tell him that I said this, it's Dan. He can't paint, that's for sure, but he never fails to amaze me. He comes at problems from a perspective or a route that I would never think of. He can almost always take a look at a problem and find a great way to solve it. And that's creativity. New solutions, better solutions, great ideas. So I want you to take your definition of creativity right now. I want you to just throw it out the window, get rid of it, destroy it. I want you to take some time, do some research wherever you like to research. I like to research on the internet. Find all the definitions of creativity you can find, think about them, and then write your own definition of creativity. I want it to be different than anyone that you've read, and it will, of course, be different than anyone else in the course. You'll have your own unique definition of creativity, and that's pure beauty. That's amazing. Then what I want you to do in the sort of follow up to this idea, what is creativity? I want you to go to the Ready, Set, Create. We're going to take your definition, we're going to write it 3 different times on 3 different pieces of paper. All of those papers should be different sizes. Every time you write it, I want you to write it in some different kind of tool. Pencil crayon, pencil, Conte, chalk, paint, digitally, in photograph, whatever. It has to always be different. It has to be a different size. I want you to take each one of those pieces and I want you to put them in 3 different places in your house. I want you to run into them regularly. I want you to see them. I want you to read them. I want you to internalize them. I want you not to worry about what anybody else in your house has to say about that. They may think you're insane. Good. Who cares? I don't care. You shouldn't care. It doesn't matter. We're talking about creativity. We're being creative. So 3 different pieces of paper with the same definition of creativity invented by you. Those 3 things written 3 different ways, put in 3 different places. I want you to leave them up for the duration of the course so that you can sort of internalize them and get familiar with your new definition of creativity. Deal? On the something extra side, I want you to make a note. I want you to make a little list of the 5 most creative things you've done in your life. I want you to take a look at each of those things on your list and say, is this creative in terms of my new definition of creativity, or is this creative in terms of I can't paint, or I can't, craft, or I don't, decorate rooms with flair? I want you to seriously do some soul searching. Once you have 5 representations of great creativity in your life, I want you to think of 2 more, and then I want you to think of 1 more, and I want you to push it. I want you to take note of all the awesome creativity that's already been going on in your life. If you get stuck, ask someone for help. We're going to make creativity our main focus today. We're going to start small. We're going to build up. In the Bulletproof Positive Attitude section, take a minute to think about what types of things you run into in your creative career, in your life, in your everyday existence. What kinds of things have been bullets to you? That's a big one. So, thank you for being here for day 1. Define creativity. Get at it. Go.